What's up, Kissables? It's the Kissable Diva, and you are tuning in to the Kissable Nights podcast, where we discuss everything love, sex, and relationships after dark. So, I wanted to interview couples this season to give more of a perspective as to how they deal with certain situations within their relationships. So make sure to tune in every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be posting a little tidbit from these couples on each show each Sunday. And they're going to give their input as to what works for them in their relationship pertaining to the questions that I asked. So this particular episode, you're going to be introduced to these couples. They're going to tell you how they met. And then they're going to tell you what do they feel about financials in their relationship. So before we go into that, I wanted to give 4 tips where you could probably use it in your relationship when it comes to financials. Just a quick side note. I asked one of my friends from college, I said, when do you think it's a good time to introduce or to talk about financials in a relationship? And she's an accountant. And she feels like it should be introduced or asked about right away in the relationship. Now, you can't say, hey, what's your financial portfolio? Let me see what you doing, what your money is talking about. I mean, you can't really put it out there like that. However, you can pay attention to what it is your partner is buying, how do they handle their money, and how do they handle their struggles with money. Now, everyone is not the best or the wonderful accountant when it comes to their money. But if they are having struggles, how are they going to handle their struggles with money? Do they recognize that they have those struggles? Are they looking for options to help repair whatever it is or whatever struggles that they have with their funds? Are they getting a second job if they don't have enough funds? Are they working on their hustle so that they can make extra money? Are they asking you for money so that it can help, replenish little income that they need? Paying attention to those types of things. And it's not necessarily some couples, some people in relationships don't ask right out, hey, can I borrow such and such and such? They'll be like, oh my gosh, be stressing about a certain thing. I really need this. I really need that. And because you're in a relationship, you don't think about it. Because you're in a relationship, you just feel like, hey, I'm here for you. I'll help you out. Here it is, whatever you need. If you're that type of person that you're not worried about financials and, you're willing to help your significant other out, so be it. However, if you're someone who does not want to be dependent upon, you don't want them to depend upon you to take up any slack that they may have when it comes to their financials, then you may want to watch how it is that they're going to take care of the situation without your help. And with, just watching those certain things in a relationship when it comes to financials, because finances are one of the biggest things that break people up because they don't address it. They don't talk about it. They don't discuss it. And most of the time when you discuss it, your partner may be really good at finances and they may be able to teach you something, or you may be able to say, okay, baby, you handle that part. I'll handle this part, and then we could come together and we could discuss, 3 months or 2 months or however long that you set with your partner. So the bottom line is it's very important to discuss your financials. Now, being in a relationship, I would say 6 months to a year, you should at least see any signs, or you should at least see how your significant other spends money. If you're paying attention, you should see how they spend money. You should see if any struggles, because this is your partner that you're in a relationship with. So anything that they're going through, they should be able to share with you. Most people keep things inside. I'm the type of person, I can't keep it inside. I have to tell you everything that's going on with me. You just got to know. You just got to know everything. So, and I'm not like that. I haven't been like that in every relationship. However, my current relationship, I just feel so open and I can just tell everything. And luckily, I have someone who can listen and also offer suggestions, or they would ask probably, what are you going to do? So if you have someone like that you could bounce ideas off of, the discussion, like I said, the first thing is to have that discussion. If you can bounce those ideas off of someone that you're in a relationship with that can help you better yourself, then great. That is a wonderful step to growth. But if you are in a relationship and 6 months to a year, you do not know, or really not paying attention to, or if it's not something that's not at the top of your list, or something that to keep in mind that you both have that together, it may be something that you want to look at. And not saying that you're going to find an issue or a problem, but it's good to know your partner's habits. And if you're okay with those habits that they have, and they're okay with your habits, then most likely finances will not be an issue later on in the relationship. So I wanted to give some tips and tricks, or tips, not tricks, on what you can do in your relationship once you sit down and have that conversation on financials. And most of the time, these types of tips that I'm going to give, you would be investing in something together, living together, making some type of financial decision together, something of that nature that will cause you to make these types of, you'll be able to use these types of tips. So the first one I have is lay everything out. No secret, all your loans, all your little side loans. And you may not even have this, honey. You may have a clean portfolio. You may have investments. You may have stocks and bonds. You may have, all of these things that, someone should be doing for themselves as an individual. But if you are in a relationship with someone where you are trying to build with, then it's good to lay out everything so that you both can see where you can grow. Not necessarily so you can be embarrassed, because sometimes people feel like, hey, this is my business. And another icebreaker would be, if you know the areas that you need to grow, say, hey, well, I want to do more investments. Do you have any ideas as to how I can do that? And once your partner start trusting you with tips on investments, or giving you ideas on investment, or you could be like, you know what, once you find out, let me know, because I want to do it too. If that's something that you're both doing together, then that's opening the door to how you all can work your financial growth. So lay everything out. No secrets, just lay everything out, good or bad. So number 2, brainstorm your dreams and goals of what you want for your portfolio, or what you want your portfolio to look like, your financial portfolio to look like. So making sure that you kind of what is it that we want to eventually get to. Setting a goal helps so much as to what you want to get to, because then you'll be able to write down the steps to get to that goal. And the next thing you know, you're at that goal. So write them down, brainstorm what it is that you two want to see for. You can do it individually, and you can also do it together. How are you going to get to a certain point in your relationship or in your financial portfolio of where you see yourselves as a couple, or even individuals? Number 3, build a budget. This sounds so easy, right? Build a budget. So if you have a goal of a place that you want to go, maybe say a year from now, make sure that you are putting aside some small amount that, is harmless, because we waste money, here and there sometimes. Some people, I'm not going to say everybody, some people are very, 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 meticulous as to how they spend their pennies or their coins. Okay. But if you are someone who, sometimes you kind of, $5 there, $10 there, $20 there, that type of change could go into a fund going towards a goal that you and your significant other, your wife or your husband, however your relationship is, and you decide to go, you guys can make that decision to put it towards your financial portfolio of something that a goal that you have set. A trip for the next year, a house that you want to buy, an investment property, whatever it is. whatever goal that you set, whatever action steps that you have laid out, that could be something that you could put towards it. One is to lay everything out, have no secrets. 2, make sure you brainstorm and lay out all your dreams, set your steps. 3, build a budget. Write it down, then your goals. Write down your goals as a family or a couple. Stick to it and be consistent. Okay? So the 4th tip would be, make sure to set some type of rewards for yourself. Right. So it kind of helps. I mean, well, I work at an elementary school and I see how teachers work with children, how they set the expectations, and they also have a reward. Everybody needs that. Everybody needs a reward. Everybody needs some type of thing that they feel makes them feel great, that they've made some type of milestone towards their goals. So celebrate your milestones basically by creating these rewards. And you can start by save $500 towards your trip out of state or wherever you want to go. For example, you're on a diet, you're doing it for 7 days or 6 days. And the 7th day, you reward yourself with either eating anything you want the whole day or altering the eating pattern by eating something that you wouldn't normally eat that's on that specific diet so that you can reach that specific goal. So if you're saving money towards a certain goal that you have or a place that you're trying to go, an investment you're trying to make, once you make it up to $500, you say, you know what? I've done so great for myself. $500 towards that investment. I'm going to treat myself to some shoes. A lot of girls love shoes. I'm going to treat myself to a nice massage or something of pleasure that you would like, that you would like to purchase for yourself because it's a reward for you that you have actually made that milestone towards this huge goal that you and your significant other have brainstormed. So with that being said, we're going to go into how these couples met, and they're going to give you some type of insight on how they deal with their financial decision with their family and as a couple. We have a married couple and a couple that is in a relationship. Here are the couples. Thank you so much, McNabbs, for coming on to the Kissable Nights podcast.
You're welcome. We're excited.
We're very excited.
You sound excited.
So first off, how long have you been married?
Ooh, that's a trick question. Jared, how long have we been married?
9 years, 10 years in October.
Good job.
Awesome. So really briefly, how did you meet?
Okay, we have two different stories.
Oh.
So I'm going to give my story because mine's the truth, and then we'll give his blemish story. So we met in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. Both of us had just moved back into Florida. I mean, originally we were here already, but went to college and then came back. Mm-hmm. Decided to go out one night with some friends. I went out with my friends. He clearly went out with his friends. And we met at a club, and he pursued me. But when he tells his story, he's going to act like I pursued him. He pursued me, and we exchanged phone numbers, kept in contact, and then I think it was Hurricane Wilma? 2004 was Hurricane Wilma, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Hurricane Wilma came, and then college was out because of the bad weather. So we had some time to be like, okay, hey, why don't we hang out a little bit? Mm-hmm. And then the rest was history. So that was 2004. But I'll let him tell his story.
I mean, ultimately, the story is pretty accurate outside of the fact that you saying I pursued you. But, I'll let you live your life.
This is the problem.
I don't want to embarrass you on the podcast.
So did I ask for your number?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did I come up to you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you didn't.
I think he needs to look up the definition of pursue.
Oh, okay. Well, moving on. Let's talk about how you handle finances. Like, how do you come to, what practices do you use as a couple to make decisions, like for the family or for...
That's actually really good. So I'm going to have a transparent moment.
Okay.
And I'm going to say we actually just talked about this. I'm bad with finances.
Okay.
So we just talked about how both of us are entrepreneurs and both of our businesses run really beginning October. So the last quarter of each year is the beginning of our fiscal year. And I was just telling him that I need him to handle all of my finances because I'm not a great financially responsible person. I get my bills paid and I get things done, but it's not done with excellence. So he's much better at finances. So I would say that in this case, when it comes to managing finances for the household or making financial decisions, that's more of his area of expertise.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of said it in a nutshell. I'm the breadwinner.
First of all, nobody asked that.
I'm just letting
that wasn't even the question.
I thought that's what she
No,
asked about.
No, it was not. The question was, how do you guys handle financial?
That's how we handle them. I bring in the money, and then I'm just joking. But yeah, I am a little more frugal to certain things. But at the same time, I'm not a penny pincher because, you want to still enjoy life at the same time. But, we come together and we figure out what is needed to be done, and, we add in our wants at the same time. So,
awesome. So what advice would you give couples out there that may be struggling with that? Because it seems like, during the time you're together, you figured it out and you found what works for you. So what advice would you give couples that are listening?
I struggled early on in our relationship with the whole term of 50-50. And, everybody matures and process things at their own rate. My advice will be not necessarily looking at it as a 50-50 situation. It's just everybody bring their resources together. Like I said, get whatever bills or whatever needs to be paid, save, and just understand that it's a we situation, And I'm saying that from a marital standpoint. Now, if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, I don't advise you doing that. But from a marriage standpoint, just understand that it won't necessarily be 50-50 from standpoint where she may make more than me or I make more than her. We're just going to put the resources together and then figure it all out. So I would say that.
That was good.
Awesome answer. Tony and Marlon, thank you so much for coming on to the Kissable Nights podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Okay, so this is an interesting question because you're not an engaged or married couple yet.
Not yet.
So I want to know, how long have you, first tell us how you met.
You want to go?
Well, we met at the Martini Bar in Fort Lauderdale, and it was a night. It was ladies' night, and I kind of went out. I basically went out with a couple friends of mine. One of the guys who I was out with, it was his 40th birthday, but I went out with a purpose to meet somebody, and I thought the Martini Bar that night would have had some quality women, and I happened to basically run into her, before I ended my night, and we exchanged numbers, and we just kind of took it from there.
Awesome. That sounds pretty correct, Tony?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. He's just missing the part about him lurking and lingering behind me and my friend for about 10 minutes before they made their way over. So he left that part out.
You know how it goes when you're in the club, man. You kind of work in the club and kind of trying to peep everything out. So, yeah, I was lurking. I was like a lion in the jungle, man.
Oh, all right. Well,
looking for my prey.
He said he went out with a purpose, so I guess that's the result of it. Okay, so you two, how long have you two been in a relationship?
A little over a year now. So.
Yeah, this year March made this March made a year, right?
Yeah, so about a year and a half exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so with you being in your relationship for about a year and a half, when do you feel or think that it's important to introduce finances? Like, how do you handle your money? How do you make money decisions and things of that nature?
I think it's important to introduce finances when you start taking a person seriously. So you can't really put a timestamp on when you want to take that other person seriously. You kind of just got to go with the flow and the feel of the relationship. But I think the sooner the better. The sooner the better it would be, because you could kind of determine how that person is with money by just dating them from the first couple of weeks and looking at their habits, looking at the things that they have. But to answer your question, it's no time frame on it. It's really no time frame on it. You just kind of gotta just pick the other person out and see how they handle themselves, and see what they have and how long they had it and how they manage their money.
Tony?
Yeah, I'm a little different. I think finances should be introduced when you start bringing in certain aspects to the relationship. So if you're going to start to discuss moving in together or buying, things together or sharing an account together, then that is when you discuss finances. Because to bring that in early on and you guys don't have any shared investments yet or accounts or you're not living together, I think it's kind of like putting the horse before the carriage. So, I think once you make that step into having an account or living together or that sort of thing, then you can discuss finances to see which way, you should go.
Sounds good. All right, Kissables, I hope that you enjoyed meeting our couples, how they met, and how do they handle financial situations within their relationships. I hope it's some tips that you could use within your own relationship, or if there's something that you feel that you could add to the discussion, make sure to visit the website kissableretreats.com, comment on the podcast blog, or leave a message, and I may just add you to the next show with your tips. Everybody has, different experiences and different tips that they can give when it comes to financials. Trust and believe, if that was something that everybody knew, it would not be the top problem as to why couples break up. With that being said, thank you so much for listening to the Kissable Nights podcast, where we talk about, with that being said, thank you for listening to the Kissable Nights podcast, where we discuss everything love, sex, and relationships after dark. Remember to keep it kissable and tune in every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.